So my question is like, how do I remain like, I don't know, hopeful and with like the same abundant mindset that you have towards relationships and love in
Mhm.
this like current climate of
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
like just a little bit of background. Like
Mhm,
I was married for a long time. And got a divorce in the height of COVID. 'Cause I got breast cancer and it was cancer, COVID, and crazy. And, I realized that I was married to a covert narcissist. And I don't say that lightly. My background's in, I'm a behavioral specialist, right?
yeah.
So I knew that he was profoundly selfish and had these tendencies, but I was already in the marriage. I met him in church. I'm a Christian. And I stayed for a lot of reasons. But it came to a point where the divorce was necessary. I didn't want to get a divorce. I mean, I wasn't happy in the marriage, but you don't get married for happiness. I mean, at least I'm not, I made a commitment before God and, all the things. So anyway, it's been almost 6 years since the divorce, and I got in another relationship kind of right after my marriage, and I wasn't really healed. Um, no, I wasn't. I wasn't really ready for a relationship, but I don't know. I don't know. I just tend to lose myself in relationships, and I'm just now starting to get to the point where like I don't need validation. I don't need to be in a relationship in order to feel wanted or loved and approved. I get that from my heavenly Father.
Mhm,
But then in the other hand, like I don't want to end up I want to be in a relationship and I don't want to end up by myself.
yeah.
And I don't know if my standards are too high or what, but like I meet people and they say they're Christians and they're like carnal worldly Christians. And I did that already. And I'm not trying to repeat it. So they say they're a Christian, but they're not a follower of Christ. And not saying that I do it perfectly because I'm not perfect. There are no perfect people.
Mhm.
And my righteousness is not my own. I know it says righteous Robin, but it does not come from me.
Yeah.
But like when I dig in or just ask a few vetting questions, they're smoking, they're drinking, they're fornicating, they're, clubbing, and it's just like it doesn't get past I haven't been on a date in like 2 years.
Mhm.
And it's not because I don't, not to sound like
No, I get
conceited
you. It's
or
not because you
anything.
can't get one. Yeah.
I have, and there's interest, but it's just like if I just peel the layer back a little bit, I'm just like, this is not for me because I have a certain set of standards that I'm going to abide by. Like, I'm not going to have sex with you if you're not my husband. I'm somebody's husband, and I'm not going to cheat on my husband. I'm not going to cheat
Mhm,
on my husband with you.
mhm.
Um, so I don't know. I'm kind of losing hope because I just haven't found anyone yet.
Yeah.
And I want to remain optimistic, but the truth is that yeah, there are 7 billion people, but
Mhm.
they're not all men. They're not all in my age bracket. I'm of the age that I don't want to have any more children. I'm past that age already. I just want to enjoy my life and do what the Lord leads me to do and travel and, you know, enjoy my retirement when it comes with someone who can reciprocate love and like a healthy love. Like I always meet these broken people who I'm trying to fix.
Mhm.
And I'm not fixing anybody anymore. Like that's not my role.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I hear your heart. I hear it. And I think there's a couple things that I'll say that you might have heard before. Um, but I think it's just worth repeating. Um, Number one is that God is the author of time, and because
Mhm.
He's the author of time, we can't ever be out of time. It's just a focus and a perspective that I choose to carry towards that. I think that leads to the second thing, which is also realizing too that because we know God exists, um, and we know that a sacrificial love is something that is presented before us, in us, and through us. Um, I think I tend to lean in the direction that such a love cultivated in said environment still is able to be found, simply because he exists. But I don't want to put this in a conversation where we just throw Jesus glitter on stuff
Mhm.
because that gets annoying.
Right,
Um,
because like he's not gonna send me someone to my door and knock on my
right.
door,
There you go.
right?
Right. And it gets annoying. It's like, oh well, girl, enjoy your singleness, or singleness is a gift, or all these other kind of things. And that's not where I'm at. I want to say this because I think the biggest part about the lack of hope. Thank you for the heart meet, Ginger. It's so good to see you in here, sis. I hope our call yesterday was dope. I know we finished all that. I'm excited to still hear from you. So I'm a, I think at the heart of it, is where I was going, is that the doubtfulness that you can find it isn't necessarily as you recognize. I think there's a sense of you that recognizes that it's out there, just hard to find. Takes a little bit more time to find all the things. But I think at the core of it is an identity. Um, Not necessarily an identity maybe issue as much as something that just should just to bring up some curiosity, because I want you to think about it like this. What is it that what does Robin have to believe in order to not even necessarily be hesitant? I don't think I heard you say that, but what does Robin have to believe that gives her permission to feel like finding what she wants is too much or hard to find?
Mm, that's a good question.
If you don't have an answer now, it's okay. I just think it's something worth considering because here's the thing.
Mhm.
Now, this is where I get the privilege of diving into my nerded out type of tendencies. Um, the beautiful thing about the brain and about the body is that there's a such thing in your brain called the reticular activation system. And this is literally designed in a way to bring what you basically rehearsed into your reality. What I mean by that is that your brain over time, based off of the things you rehearse and you just ruminate on over and over again, your brain will quickly develop the habit of highlighting
Mhm.
what agrees with what you believe in.
Right.
So if I rehearse over time that all men are dogs, ain't ish, ain't no good men out here, and all the things, whatever experiences I have that might, shed light to that, over time, I'm only going to look for those things. Not because that's all that's there, but because that's all I've been conditioning myself to be able to see.
Right.
So this is where you'll go on dates and you only point out red flags. You'll never acknowledge good in them. Self sabotage, fear of rejection. I'd rather isolate, can't trust no man, all the things. Right. And I think because we recognize that that can go in that direction, I think it's beautiful to be able to recognize that it can go in the opposite. Where if
Mhm.
we were able to rehearse the possibilities of things going right, the possibilities of finding the healthy love where someone is appreciative of us being in their life, being connected to us, and they would do nothing to jeopardize it. Being able to envision ourselves in a connection with someone and encapsulating those feelings and holding that emotional tension, resting in that because we recognize we can experience that in our today. That's what actually keeps the hope alive to be able to encounter it in the future. Because
Okay.
ultimately, what we're
What you're
after
saying.
is a feeling.
I
And
think
because,
that the fear for me is
uh
that if I've been through so much negative things in my life, I think fear behind that, and I know we shouldn't do anything in fear, but in faith and
Forget about what
hopeful.
we should do. Can I say this before you go?
Mhm.
That I think is one of the biggest reasons why I address things the way I do, because I think there's a lot of different stigmas and quick sayings that we can be quick to say over ourselves, over what we shouldn't be versus what we are.
Mhm.
But there is a legitimate scientific fact that you cannot outperform your self-image.
Mhm.
And I know that we are some Bible believing folk, and we know God can do it, God can change it, God, and that is all true. But there's a reason why we have so many people who are quick to, again, shout, dance, and recite over scriptures, only for them to not even be in a position to receive it because they don't believe it would work for them. A lot of people's Christianity is limited to
Emotionalism.
emotionalism and what they experience in church, not because it's something that they fully embody.
Mhm.
And so if we can believe and, we can say, oh, yeah, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. God has made us and all these things. But if you have rehearsed for so long, like we went back to the reticular activation system, that you're ugly, no one wants you, you're not this, you're not that. It's not to say that God's word is null and void, because it isn't. We have to go back and retrain our nervous systems in a way that becomes receptive to that belief, instead of counteractively trying to integrate this new belief into old programming without dealing with the old programming that got us here. And
Mhm.
so when you're going and you're like, yo, the fear is this, I think it is completely like, and I don't know if you've heard this from someone who is a believer on these kind of spaces. I think it is completely okay to acknowledge that that's there and not throw Jesus glitter on what we should be, because you've
Thank
been
you
through a
for
lot.
giving me that. I haven't. Thank you for giving me permission
Yes, you've
to
been
do
through a
that.
lot. You've been through a lot. Like, this isn't easy. If this was easy, everybody would move like this. So you were saying that there was a fear of what?
Um, of that not of it not manifesting, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it not coming to pass. And you kind of talk your way out of it. Well, maybe that's not the Lord's will for my life. Maybe I'm supposed to be single, forever. Jesus is my husband, and
Oh
just
Lord. Oh
stay in that space. And I'm like, Lord, but I don't.
yeah.
I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
And I
there are
want
things that
somebody.
I want somebody to love you with.
You know what I'm saying?
Um,
Can
but
we?
there were some things that God taught me, during this time, because
Sure.
I did have, my marriage was an idol, my man was an idol,
Mm.
you know, my family was an idol to me. And, when it all fell apart, I if it wasn't for the Lord, I don't know where I would be.
Mm-hmm.
But he showed me that I was putting things before him.
Mm.
And now that I have things back in their right order, I'm like, you know, I don't know. I just don't know if I'm running out of time and it's not going to happen for me. I spent like 2 years after my divorce, like training a 45-year-old man and showing him how to label his emotions so that, because he had emotional issues. He was a good guy, but he didn't know how to regulate his emotions, and that's what I did for a living. And but it ultimately, you can't make something, you know,
Yeah.
work with an avoidant person who does not take accountability for their um mistakes. And I just don't want to be in that space where I'm like constantly fixing somebody. I'm like, oh, if he just fixed this, he would be perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't want to be too picky. Like he had everything else. Like he was a Christian and we were waiting, and financially he could sustain himself, and me, But I sustain myself. But anyway, I'm not looking for, yes, he was 6'2", but I'm not looking for like a 6'2", man who, earns 100,000 plus, but you
Sure.
do need to be financially responsible. You
Mhm.
do need to be able in your old age, because I'm not young anymore. When I married my ex-husband, we both had nothing. We built everything we had together, and that was fine. And I worked 2 jobs. He was getting his MBA, and I was supposed to finish my schooling, but that
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah.
Um, so I built a man up from nothing, and then spent everything that I built for 18 years with him on defense attorneys.
Mm.
So all the wealth that we created, my home was gone. My health was gone.
Mm.
My family was destroyed.
Yeah.
All, well, I don't know. It happened very slowly and then all at once, because the cancer in 2020 gave me clarity with
Mm.
what I was dealing with. Because I always said to myself, well, if it was something serious, I was over functioning, working, raising the kids, doing everything, coming home and cooking and all the things to keep my family together. And then when I got sick, he went to one he went to one doctor's appointment. One.
Mm.
And like everything fell apart then, because I said, wow, like this Negro really never cared about me. But it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it's God has healed
Mm.
me. But anyway, my point is that I don't know what was my point. Sorry, I have ADHD too.
No, it's okay. Listen, it's a safe space, man. We here processing together. Um.
So I don't know. It gave me clarity with what I was dealing with, and then all of
Mm.
these things that he was doing behind my back came to light, and I didn't have a. I mean, I'm like, there's certain things that you can't do to me and me still be with you. Like, if you cheat on me and if you put your hands on me, we're done. I don't care how long we're married for. We're done. If I can't trust you in those areas, like, we don't have a marriage. But
Mhm.
everything in between I put up with, and I put up with a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have put up with, but I did because I didn't want to destroy my marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to be a fixer anymore.
Understood. Yeah. Do you feel like you've grieved that relationship fully?
Um, it comes and goes. Like, grieving is not linear, but
Mm.
like when I'm done with him, but like I had to grieve my hopes for the future, right? My hopes for my family. The when the kids get married and what that would have looked like, and you know,
Yeah. There's a lot of layer. There's a
being
lot of layers to
there.
the
There was a
grieving.
lot of right. There were a lot of things that I had to grieve in terms of him. Like, yeah, no, there's no hopes of us ever reconciling or getting back together.
Mhm.
And I wasn't in love with him when I think it would have hurt way more if I was like romantically in love with him when all of this happened.
Mhm.
But I wasn't, because of the things that he had done to me throughout the years.
Mhm.
It was just like a lot of covert abuse, and I
Mhm.
didn't even know. And I was just like, I was so like ashamed of myself, because like I didn't even know that I was in an abusive relationship until it culminated into this very horrible thing that happened on our 15-year wedding anniversary, that there was no coming back from. Zero,
Mhm.
zero coming back from. But I knew that he was profoundly insecure. This was after we got married. I knew that he was profoundly selfish. And I tried to work all of that out for a lot of years.
Yeah.
on my own,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen. And I was very angry at God because I felt like I did everything right, and I met him in church, and you know, we didn't drink, we didn't smoke or whatever, but then over the years he started drinking, he started doing drugs, he started doing a lot of things behind my back that we didn't, I but what am I going to do? I'm going to divorce you because you want to smoke weed or you want to go out drinking with your friends. I'm not going to divorce you over those things because you can't control anybody else. But then I started, trying to control him because I wanted to keep my marriage from falling apart. But you can't control anybody else, right? You can't control anybody's behaviors. The only thing you can control is yourself and your responses. But to answer your question, um, yeah, I think I'm over the marriage. Sometimes, I get sad. The kids get sad and they're like, I remember when dad was like this. And we
Mm-hmm.
were all we were all duped to
Mm-hmm.
a certain extent. I saw more of his ways than they did because I was trying to, shield them from his toxicity. But the kids fell apart. They were like, what happened to my dad? And I was just like, when it was a lot. It was a
Yeah.
lot. He was always like that, but the mask fell off.
Mm-hmm.
The mask fell off, and they saw who their dad really was, and it hurt them. It crushed them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is this your first time talking about all this in a while?
In a while. Yeah. I mean, I was in therapy before
Mm-hmm.
everything happened, and then after, but I don't really talk about it much
Yeah. How did it
with
feel to talk
anyone.
about it like that? How's it feel?
I think it feels good to talk about it in a safe space, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a short answer, and then there's maybe a little bit of a longer answer to your initial question, because I think there's a lot that you mentioned that's coming up and coming out, that I don't ever really think I don't think it disqualifies you from putting yourself in position to experience a healthy love and all of those things. I do think there maybe still can be some lingering effects from it that we just want to take notice of. It's not to say we need to go through a whole journey of figuring things out and it's another few years. Like, nah, we're just paying attention and being aware of moments when that stuff comes up. Um, because uh, the short answer or is a couple things. Number one is that it doesn't sound like from what you described, no, your standards are not too much. You're in a different season of your life. And because you're in a different season of your life, it requires someone who has the capacity to navigate with you in that season. Needs change, desires change, and someone has to be willing to have that type of capacity. So you're no longer in the days of, hey, I'm here to build with you. That doesn't make
Right.
you less of a woman or less of a godly woman because that's where you're at. No, that's where you're at. That's what you need. I need someone who
Thank you.
is, yeah, you need someone who's financially stable. A lot of people don't realize, especially with part of these conversations, is that depending on your needs, it does affect who's available and who's not. Um, obviously you'll hear a lot of age gap. Um, I think everybody has their preferences and perspectives on that. Of course, I am not someone who thinks like a 20-year-old should be with a 50-year-old at any point. What do you have in common? Like, what is there? But I do know that there are people who date up, and people who date down based off of availability, emotional availability. What do they have as values? And there are a few year differences. It's not anything crazy. Um, and I've told people, hey, like, okay, these are what you say you need. So then this is kind of more of that bracket that you want to put your time and attention into to invest into because it just matches what you need or what you say you're after, the lifestyle you say you want, all things. And I bring that up because again, your needs shift, needs change, And I think when it's told that it comes off as too much, it does leave a sour taste in one's mouth. And believing that, okay, so then that just, I'm only qualified because I am able to make room for something that I feel like goes against where I am in the season of life I'm in. That can't be the answer. And so that I think is more so of a direction for the short term. I also think short term too, in addressing this is, again, I have a lot of different opportunities to, because I spend a lot of time breaking this stuff down. Like, I wish in a lot of ways I could just take what I got and just give it to you in like a nice little potion.
Mhm.
And you take a drink of that, a drink of this Kool-Aid, and then boom, you got it, download it. God give it to her. But we know, um, when you ask God for things, he doesn't give it to us directly. He just gives us opportunities to step into it. Right.
Right.
And I think this is a moment where we're invited into that. And this is kind of what encouraged me to build the secure program. This is what encouraged me to invest in different programs that I got within it. Various resets and all the things to deal with perspectives that challenge some of that openness and abundance we want to have, because a lot of it is an internal work and our view of the matter that makes a difference. And sometimes those experiences can obviously have a toll on us because it creates different meanings and different identities that form over time that makes it hard to transition and move forward. Long answer, I'd like to give to you in an analogy. Are you up to hear that?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm available.
Yeah, let's rock. Okay. So what's your favorite jewelry store to go to?
Um, oh gosh. I'm not into jewelry, but
That's
if I
beautiful.
had to pick one, I don't know.
Let's rock with K Jewelers. That's on the top of my mind.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Every kiss begins with K. So K Jewelers is a beautiful spot. Has a lot of dope jewelry. I'm sure there's so many other places that got it just as lit. And you notice when you walk into the jewelry store, everything is kind of cased up,
Hmm.
right? On these long glass cases, fingerprints all over the thing because everybody's pointing to something, touching it, trying to feel and get their way to that ring, that earring, watch, necklace, whatever is being displayed.
Kendra
And
Scott. Sorry. Okay, there is one. I like Kendra Scott.
Kendra
I
Scott.
know it doesn't matter with the analogy, but I
Yeah,
was
Kendra Scott. I don't
still
know if
thinking,
I've ever heard of Kendra Scott. What it
oh
so
yes,
dang,
they're
I
nice.
gotta step my game up. Hold up. So
I
Kendra
don't know.
Scott. Well, that's good.
Okay, Kendra
That's
Scott.
good.
Yes.
Kendra Scott. Okay, let's rock. Um, so we could probably even use this because I'm sure most jewelry stores do this. Obviously you have the display cases, you can see all these things, but typically when they have like a special going on, you know, maybe it's a specific watch they're selling or a specific, you know, piece of jewelry that they're wanting the people to have. It might be in a more specific display case where it's kind of like all by itself. If it's in the back of the jewelry store, front of the jewelry store, whatever the case is. And what do you initially feel like or see when you come across a specific jewelry item that's in its own individual case and is displayed for everyone to see? What do you typically feel when you walk
That
across that?
that it's special and set apart.
I like that. And I think you're not alone in thinking that. And we also recognize too, right, in that same setting that yes, it's set apart, it's special, it's cased up because not everybody can be trusted. Not everybody can handle this type of thing, right?
Hmm.
And it's really something that regardless of what the price is, the person that is really invested into this item understands the price that that item carries and makes a willing decision to pay that price to have what they're after.
Hmm.
So I want to go a little further with this analogy because there's a few different people that come across this item that's displayed specifically in the store that people walk past all day, every day, and only one person intentionally puts in the effort to purchase and buy. So you have type A of an individual um, that will give it a glance but keep moving. And those are type of the people that are walking around in the malls and the stores, and every store they walk into that they're saying, I'm just looking, because that's all I got is just looking energy. I don't got no money. I'm not here to purchase anything. We've all had those seasons. I'm just looking, just chilling. Okay. No real intentions. And then we have type B. That's a person who sees this watch, sees this piece of jewelry, and actually pauses and takes a look at the price. And when they take a look at the price, they think one of two things. That's way too much for this jewelry, because I can think of millions of different reasons and different things to do with that type of money.
Mm-hmm.
Or they look at it and they go, dang, like I don't have it. I'm gonna be so honest. That jewelry costs $1,000. I only got 200 in my pocket right now. I really just don't got it. I don't have what it takes to live up to what this price is asking me for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have type C. Type C is that type of person that sees the watch, sees what it costs, and to some extent feels like they got enough swagger to go to the clerk and be like, yeah, so I see the price on that, man, but what can you do for 650? They try to discount the watch.
Mm-hmm.
They try to negotiate the watch's price. And they got away with words. They real smooth, they real slick, but ultimately that clerk is not budging, because the price is the price. And the person who has the capacity to actually buy this will do it. Which then brings type D. And type D is the lone soldier, because type D has the wherewithal, has the money, has the pricing, knows what it takes, know what's required, and is willing to make that purchase. And we don't really know to what extent when type D shows up. We just know type D is around somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
because he has the capacity to make that purchase. I say all of that because in this type of season where we are very picky and and as we should, because the bar's in hell. Um,
Seriously.
seriously, the bar's in hell. So we
It is.
should be picky in a season where we are very intentional with the time that we have, and we're very intentional about where and who we spend that time with. There's a few things that we have to recognize when it comes to experiencing this format of dating today, or this format of building relationships, and this format of abundance love that we want to have. This is the perspective that we have to carry and ingrain in ourselves to give ourselves the freedom to display ourselves. Obviously, nothing crazy, but the freedom to display ourselves, to be chosen,
Mm-hmm.
and to be kept.
Mm.
This is the format. We recognize everybody that walks past and doesn't choose us fits in one of the three categories I just gave you. Everybody who looks at you, listens to you, hears you, and still keeps moving and has no intentions on investing is actually somebody who probably fits that I'm just looking around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing. I'm not really being intentional. And that's something that we don't take seriously, because you weren't a serious buyer in the first place. Your intentions weren't serious, weren't clear. No need to take that personally. Type B fits the description of the individual that might want to get a closer look, right? Might want to take some time, have some conversation, might go on a date, but it might not go past that date, because I'm listening to you, I'm seeing you, I'm listening to where you are. And I'm going to just be so honest, man. Like, you're amazing. I just don't have the capacity to be able to handle that, what that comes with you. And realize how none of that gets the clerk from the watch perspective to knock down the price, because somebody who doesn't have the capacity to support this says, I don't have capacity to support this. That price stays the same, and we keep it moving.
There's
Somebody is
not a
going to,
lot of men who are that self-aware, by the way. There's very, very delusional men
very
who
delusional.
see the shiny object in the
Yeah.
cage and think that they can,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
And they think
do
they
it, and they
can.
mismanage you, and they can't.
Absolutely. And that's why you, as the clerk and the valuable price, the valuable person that you are, um, sometimes the clerk has to make the decision and be like, yeah, so we're not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you notice how when type C comes around and he start negotiating and he like, what you can do for 650. Well, now we're not talking about the watch no more. We're talking about that earring down there. No, 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 no. But I want that watch. I heard what you want, but you're not getting that because that's not what it costs. You got to go
Right.
down there to get that earring because that's what that costs. That's what you're looking for. Because the clerk recognizes that because you are trying to negotiate down, either you're unwilling to pay what this costs or you just don't have it. And either way, that's not my concern. My concern is making sure that this gets sold what it's worth. And so instead of engaging with this negotiation with you, I'm just going to make the decision for you. No. Oh, come on, man. You know, we can make this thing work. No. Oh, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could look real good with my red suit and everything else. No. Because I'm making the decision. And this isn't going on discount. You don't ever see Lamborghini have Black Friday sales
No, you do not.
because the price is the price and you're going to pay it. And I'm so confident in my ability to recover that in the event that someone says no, I'm at peace. And in the event that someone says yes and it later becomes a no, I can stay at peace
That
because
part.
I have the tools, not from just a place of prayer and going to church. No, I have legitimate emotional regulation tools to be able to live through this and not give you permission to take me out of here.
Yeah, I have to work on that part
The
because
confidence
I
to
stay too
recover.
long.
Uh-huh.
I, you know,
Yeah.
I stay
Confidence, the
too
confidence to
long.
recover has to be greater than your fear of failure. That's what we're working on tangibly. Because staying too long, and hear me when I say this, sometimes we might guilt trip ourselves in some way because we stayed too long. But staying too long is very much subjective because some people have the capacity to stay longer than others to see something through.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some people don't and they just choose because I don't know where else to go or I'm afraid of starting over. When you're on that end,
Mm-hmm.
staying too long is like you've been there way too long. I don't care if way too long was 2 weeks. You've been there way too long because your decision to stay didn't come from a place of abundance. It came from a place of lack.
Lack.
There you
Yes.
go. Right.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so we have to ask ourselves these questions. Hey, am I making this decision from a place of lack or from a place of abundance? Because the abundance version of myself, the same version of myself that's living life abundantly as Christ has given, is not leading these conversations with my insecurities and what I can't do to give you no other option than to say no to me. This abundance that I've been promised and given is actually giving me permission to be authentically me and be okay with whatever result you choose.
That's so good. Yeah.
Because I'm not waiting for you to give me permission to love. I'm choosing to love regardless. And your response lets me know where you are, not who I am not.
Mm.
I want to finish this analogy before I get to preaching in here, and then I got to shut everything down. Okay.
So good. So good. Yes.
So you got type A, type B, type C, all of them that are no good, all of them that say no for different reasons, which gives us reason to not take every rejection personally because we recognize it's either about preference or preparation.
Mm-hmm.
They either prefer something different or they're not prepared. Either way, it's not about you.
Right.
Then comes type D. And, you know, the clerk is actually pretty aware of who really looks like they have the capacity to deal with this and they don't judge it. I want you to pay attention to this. So good. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've said it this way, but I will today. The clerk typically has an awareness of who has the ability to purchase what is being asked. And it's not necessarily by the clothes the person wears. It's not by the amount of jewelry this person is flashing. The jeweler sees this every day. People come in with all type of shiny stuff and can't afford not a lick of nothing in there. Right? He's not judging this by who's on his shoulder. He's not judging this by the walk and the swagger. He's judging this not even by words. Oh, yeah. I'll be back. Yeah. I'll be back. Don't even worry about it. I'll be back by the end of the day. End of the day come, they don't ever show up. Oh, yeah. No, bro. Like, man, if I'm being real, bro, that's easy money, man. I got bread for days. I can take that. He didn't heard all that. He knows somebody has a capacity by their character, integrity, motion, decisiveness, clarity. He knows they have it. Because when they show up to that counter, there ain't no, I don't know. There isn't a, well, shoot, let me make a call. He knows that this person has a capacity because when they get to him, they know exactly what they want. They know exactly how much it costs. And they don't need no further negotiating on what this is. I know what it is. Take me to the register. I'm ready to purchase.
Amen.
Because it came with clarity. It came with decisiveness. It came with alignment. As the jeweler, you have a responsibility of protecting that which is of most value, which is you yourself. And you have a responsibility to be able to know who has the capacity and who doesn't. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to walk around second guessing, overreacting, or not feeling like we can trust our decision making. That comes with time as we build ourselves up with this self-trust to trust our decisions, all the things. But this really looks like you stepping in and being decisive on knowing what you want, what you need, and paying attention enough in observation to who's in front of you, to the character and integrity that is displayed to you, that gives you leverage to make a decision. Because oftentimes the person that you're looking for is, let me say it like this, oftentimes people that you may encounter are trying their hardest to be connected to you and don't even realize that you're observing them to see how much they can actually withstand being connected to you. I know you want this, but this is, I'm not giving this to you because you want it. I'm giving it to you because I know that you, through your behaviors, can handle this. That's a different level of movement. And that starts with allowing our internal world to lead our external. That starts with us moving with this secure identity that isn't just tips and tricks, but our ability to actually regulate and relax and have confidence in who I'm called to be and who I'm designed to be, that's greater than what anybody else is trying to present themselves to be for me. This abundant love started for me when I recognized that I will never be more loved than how Christ loves me.
Amen.
So
That's so true.
What is amazing is whoever I encounter, the best you can do is reflect it. You can't do better. So now that I've become in this place of rehearsal and identity and all those things from spiritual places, sure. But how this played out in practicality was now I'm given permission to take rejection and not take it personally. I'm able to step into places where I don't have to question my identity because you said no. And I'm constantly running into an error answer in my calculator because I did all the right things for you to just say no.
Yeah, that's good.
No, like you have the full freedom to do that. And that doesn't change how I love. And you aren't going to, you not that powerful to keep me from loving in a healthy way because you said no. You told me all I needed to know, and that's okay. I'll move on. I'll cry, whatever I need to do, but I'll move on. And we'll be cool. I'm given the capacity to choose that. And in this day and age, as you're making decisions to choose who makes most sense for you, you're going to find the man who can set the tone for you and you can reflect the temperature until he shows you that you set the tone
Mm,
and you lead there.
okay.
And the man who can show you that he has the ability to not just hold that, to not just take that from you, but also adjust the tone that is fluctuating for the both of you that reflects your values. Now you get to fall back into fluctuating the temperature and allow him to lead and allow everything else to fluctuate. I don't want you to put yourself on a discount because somebody who doesn't have the capacity to handle you thinks of so many other different ways to deal with, to handle, to feels free to do everything else but to invest in you. It feels like it's the better move. I don't want you to put yourself on discount and put yourself on a discount rack because people just don't have what it takes anymore.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
want
that.
you to stand firm in what you know you need for this season of your life, because I genuinely believe when you walk with God, you cannot be late. I genuinely believe that.
Amen.
There is something to
Amen.
the promise he gives where your later years will be greater than the former years. You know what all that predicated off of in that context in one simple word?
Mhm.
Alignment.
That's good. And he gave
Alignment.
me a word before I went through all of this in 2020. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what I thought he was talking to me about, my marriage, because it wasn't what I had hoped for.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me that he will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. That's the word he gave me. And I was like, oh, cool, Lord. Like,
Come
yes,
on.
you're going to restore all those years of unhappiness and crying and blah, 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 and being mistreated and doing all this. And then my entire universe fell apart. And I
Mm,
was like, oh, Lord, I didn't know you
yeah.
were talking
Mm-hmm.
about that. But that's what held me as an anchor going through the things that, I went through.
Yeah.
Um, because he will restore. And I mean,
He
he
will
will
restore.
restore.
He will restore. But his restoration is not dependent on a time clock that we've created
Right.
in our heads about how much longer we have to make this work. His restoration was never measured by the biological clock that we created. It was never measured by the timeline and timetable we created. I just said at the beginning that he's the author of time and outside of time. Therefore, we what? Can't run out of time.
We can't run out of time. You're right. You're
So
right.
what we lean in here is building the confidence through healthy tools to be able to put yourself in position to be received, to be chosen, to be loved. And in the event that that doesn't happen the way you want it, you still can walk freely, abundantly, and at peace. That starts at an identity level. Not trying to change these men out here, not trying to change the dating pool out here. It starts with my inward and what I'm focusing on. I could look at the ghosting and say, wow, all women are trash. Or I could look at the ghosting and say, that just wasn't the right one. And I know the right one for me is going to make room for me and not just disappear on me. One lane will create a whole train wreck of failed relationships, isolation, and wounds. Another lane will actually give you access to the love and relationship you really want because it started with you. Because healthy you brings out healthy relationships.
That's good. Mm.
So here's what I want to offer you. Because I work with people in this space. I don't know if you can tell. And
Just a little.
just a little. Yeah, I know. It's a little hidden in there. Um, but I actually would love to send you a document when I close the stream because I think it'll actually explain a path that'll be really helpful to putting some of this stuff in applicabilities and off of high spiritual shelves so you can actually digest it and then see a difference in your dating life.
Okay. I would love that.
You will love that. I'm going to
Yes.
send it
Thank
to
you.
you. Okay. As
Great.
soon as this stream closes, and we'll make the most of it. Okay.
Thank you for taking my call. And I apologize to everybody else because I was running my mouth in the chat talking about keep it concise so that he can get to me. That was very self-serving. And then I gobbled up a bunch of time.
Listen,
So I'm
hey,
sorry.
no, listen, this is what's
And I'm
needed.
sorry for being a hypocrite.
This is what's needed, right? These are the spaces that are needed. I'm not here to rush you. I got one more call. I'm gonna take Andy, and then I'm gonna get on out of here. Everybody else, hey, listen, send me a message, get on my books. Send me a testimonial of how you felt this live stream was helpful and beneficial to you, because I would love to actually give you a free session by way of your testimonial. So send me a testimonial via video or written. Video 1 to 5 minutes. What's been helpful? What's been impactful? Would you recommend to other people? And send me the keyword testimonial, and I'd love to get you the free Calendly to book your session. Free session on me. All right, so make sure to do that. And for you, I will follow up with that document, and we're going to get things going. Was this helpful?
Thank you. It was very helpful. Thank you so
Come on,
much.
come on.
I
I
appreciate
got
it.
you. All right, I'll follow up with you shortly.
Okay, bye.
Take it easy.